What's going on, guys? It's Sizzle here. I'm back with another video. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll get right into it. Today's video is going to be about the best things you can sell on eBay. I know a lot of you guys are new to reselling, and this isn't going to only pertain to eBay. If I say it's a good item to sell, that means it's going to sell well on other platforms, especially like Mercari. I think Mercari is like the closest thing to eBay, but we want to talk about the best items to sell. I've been a full-time reseller for 8 years, and I've sold tens of thousands of items. So I've pretty much run the gambit on almost every category you can imagine. I've sold a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So over the years, I've kind of picked out which niches I think sell the best and sell the quickest. So I'm going to share some of that information with you guys. So when you're out sourcing, you can find these kind of items, which always will equate to quick sales. So we'll get right into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is jewelry and watches. Those are really good things to sell, and the best things about them is a lot of us have that stuff laying around the house. If you have any real gold, that's going to sell like hotcakes. And if you have any silver, you could probably get some stuff for it. There's some like brand name jewelry, maybe like Chanel or Tiffany, you can get a lot of money for. So if you have some high-end jewelry around the house you haven't worn in a year or two, it might be time to get rid of it and turn it into some cash. The jewelry and watches do great. A quick tip, if you're going to sell gold, you want to know the weight of it. Like if I was going to sell this gold ring right here, I would have like a little digital scale, and then I would say, you know, this ring weighs 10 grams. So when I make the listing, I could say it's a men's wedding ring, size 10, and it weighs 10 grams. That's the information you're going to need. That's the information people are going to want. They want to know the weight of the gold because that's really the most important thing for the value. But yeah, gold, jewelry, watches do great, especially brand name watches. I've sold hundreds of watches, and I love selling watches. They're small, easy to ship, and they usually bring big money if they have a good brand name attached to them. The next thing we're going to talk about is video games. Video games essentially sell themselves. The good thing about video games is a lot of the games you're going to sell are going to be games that were made 5-10 years ago for older consoles. So they're hard to find in the stores unless somebody lives near a GameStop or something of that nature. And oftentimes people can get them cheaper on eBay anyway. So if you've got some old video games laying around the house, or if you're out at yard sales or estate sales and you've come across some video games, they're really easy to look up because obviously you can look up, you know, Xbox 360, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 4. You have all the keywords you need for the search parameters. And so many people sell video games, you can always find sold comps and get a good idea on value. And a lot of times you can get games at a yard sale for $1, $2, $3 each and then sell them for $20, $30, $40 each. So there's a lot of money to be made if you can find some video games when you're outsourcing. Another really good item is cell phones. Every time I get a new cell phone, my older cell phone is paid off. I think the last phone I got was this iPhone 11. And before that I had an iPhone 8 Plus. And I think I had like 256 gigabytes, so it was a pretty nice one. And I ended up getting my new phone, and then I was able to sell my own phone for like $350 or something. So it pretty much paid mostly for my new phone. So it's a good thing to get rid of those old cell phones. If you have a friend that, you know, is getting a new cell phone, you can maybe say, hey man, I'll give you $100 for your old phone, and then you could turn around and sell it for $200 or something of that nature. Just make sure you look up sold comps and you know the value of the phone before you list it, and you want to make sure that the person you're getting the phone from has called their service provider, paid off the phone, and asked them to unlock the phone so the next person that buys the phone can use it. Another good thing is electronics. Now before I get into electronics, I want to tell you that there's a high return rate on electronics. So if you get any kind of electronic, you want to test it the best you can, and you want to package it very well. Because a lot of times these do get returned, or even when I properly test them, somebody will message me and they'll tell me that there's some little subtle problem with the unit that I didn't catch, like channel 4 doesn't put out sound or something of that nature. But there's a lot of money to be made in electronics as well. Oftentimes I'll get them at yard sales for like $5 or $10, or at the thrift store for $5 or $10, and sell them on eBay for $100. So let's say I buy 5 units for $40, and then all 5 sell for $100. My 40 is turned into 500. If one of those get returned and I have to send somebody a $100 refund, I still turned $40 into $400. I did have that little headache of the return. So just keep that in mind if you're selling like old turntables or vintage electronics. Sorry, I just kicked the trash can. You might have to deal with a return here and there. The next thing we're going to talk about is my personal favorite, which is vintage and antiques. The best thing about vintage and antiques is they don't make them anymore. I can't go to Walmart and buy an antique typewriter or a sewing machine. I could buy a brand new one, but some people like specific models, and that's the beauty of eBay. That's why we do this, because we find these unique items that are hard to find. We put them out there and we link up with the perfect buyer for that item. So I sell mostly vintage and antiques, and I'll tell you like a quick list of my personal favorites. So old typewriters, sewing machines, vintage BB guns sell exceptionally well. A lot of people wouldn't think that, especially if you have the original box. Old Crocs, like stoneware Crocs, some of those stoneware like butter churns, things of that nature, those sell well. Old cast iron, especially if it has a brand name attached to it. I think Griswold is the best one that I've come across. There's other good ones that tend to sell well, like Wagner ware, and I can't really think off the top of my head, but there is others. So if you ever see cast iron, flip it over, look at the brand on the bottom, and then you're able to look up sold comps based off that information. One of a kind items, which is kind of like a blanket statement for like really rare and unique things, and these sometimes are hard to find sold comps, which helps like doing this for a long time. You get a good eye and you know kind of what a special item is, but that just comes with time. But a lot of times you'll find these one of a kind items, and you can find one or two sold comps to give you a good idea of a general price range. And then I like to sell old clocks as well. That's another item that does have a higher return rate, but they are generally easy to test. I usually wind the clock up. A lot of old clocks you have to wind up on the face. They'll have these holes where you can put a clock key and turn it. You can go on eBay and buy a universal clock key. It looks like a star, and it has like 5 different sizes. It fits like every clock I get, and a lot of the old clocks will be missing the key. So I can take my universal clock key, wind it up, and then I'll let it run for like a half hour and make sure it's working properly. So you got to test the old clocks, and sometimes they get returned, but they're a little bit better than the vintage electronics. Most of the ones I sell, they don't come back, and the buyers are generally happy. And the good thing about those is if there's issues with them, they're still sellable. Like I think they're relatively easy to fix, or people still know people that work on clocks. So it might be worth $200 if it works, but if the clock's not running, you still might be able to get like $70 out of it, and someone will buy it from you and repair it. The next thing we're going to talk about is small kitchen appliances. Small kitchen appliances are really good to sell. I buy a lot of those at yard sales. So we're talking about like Keurigs, air fryers, just basic kitchen appliances that have good brand name attached to them. A lot of people, when they're buying something new for the kitchen, like a Ninja air fryer or something like that, they're going to pay $150 for it. Then a year later, they're going to say, oh, we only used that twice. Let's put it out at the yard sale for 10 or 20 bucks. You buy it for 20 and sell it for 100. It's easy money. It is what it is. And a lot of times they're not used that much, and that's why people are selling them. So you can make really good money on small kitchen appliances. Toys and collectibles, I'm kind of like blanketing together. Collectibles is a general statement because you could get like ceramic collectibles that wouldn't really be a toy. So just keep that in mind, but they're always easy to look up because on the bottom of a collectible or on the foot of an action figure or on his butt or his back, you can always find a maker's mark, a year. So they're pretty easy to find sold comps, and everybody's out there looking for the certain things they collect to add to their collection. So you want to look those up when you're out there. Toys and collectibles sell great for me. I always pick them up when I can, especially the really good, hard to find ones that are still new in the original box. That's basically gold right there. That stuff's not going to sit around. It's going to sell quickly. The next thing is shoes and boots. I've sold a lot of shoes and boots over the years. What I have found out is that like athletic shoes and everyday casual shoes don't sell that fast. They will sell. I mean, it really depends on the shoe and when it came out. But a lot of times I'll get those and I'll sell them and make a profit. But oftentimes it'll take me 2, 3, 4 months. The shoes will sit there, which isn't fine because they don't take up a lot of space. But it is kind of like a longer tail item. But what I found that sells the quickest for me is like utility or workout or shoes or boots that have some kind of other purpose than just casual everyday wear. So like work boots, cowboy boots with a good brand name, and then especially like hiking shoes, biking shoes, workout shoes, any of the shoes that have like a special niche down utility for those shoes, those are the ones that are going to sell the quickest. So keep an eye out for those when you're outsourcing, especially like hiking boots and workout shoes. Those tend to do the best and they always sell quickly. And then like high-end water shoes too. You don't really come across those a lot, but I forget the brand name, but I've sold a few pair of the ones that look like feet, where the shoes actually have like 5 toes for your toes to go in, and they're like water shoes. Those tend to do really well. I've sold like 3 or 4 pair of those, and every time I list them, they sell within like a few days. We're almost done here, so hang with me. We're going to talk about one more thing. High-end sporting goods was the only other thing I could think about for this video. So when you're out there and you see like golf clubs especially, look those up. Baseball bats, a lot of baseball bats are worth a lot of money. I don't know, baseball gloves sometimes. So you kind of get the idea. Just really high-end sporting goods tend to be worth a lot of money. So when you're out there, keep an eye out for those and make sure you're looking up sold comps. Well, I really hope this video didn't bore you, like me just sitting here talking to the camera for like 10 or 12 minutes or whatever, but I felt like this was some vital information I wanted to share with you guys. So thank you guys for watching. If there's something in that video I forgot, or like another item that sells well for you guys that you can share with people that are watching this video and reading the comments, go ahead and drop a comment below and add some value to this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks again for the continued support, and until next time, peace.